And then we have verses where we talk about God, characteristic of God, characteristics of Brahman. What is one? What can we do to get rid of our suffering? We need to realize God. We need to be free from the pair of opposite. Ki Krishna inapel, the equipoise, the equilibrium. We need to develop virtues. We talked about the prana. God is pran. Pran no malmo means life. Uvya prana means air, layer. No, without air we can't live. So God is prana. The wise, they do not talk foolish things about Atman, about Brahman, but the ignorant, they do. We need to be engaged in religious activities, spiritual activities. That is, the seeker need to remain active. Active in what sense? Always doing something spiritual, religious, so that he can attain moksha. We need to observe brahmacharya, celibacy, practice truth, concentration, knowledge, etc. That is Gyan, Upyana Pinha Brahma Gyan. We need to stick, abide by truth, just like Ram, for example, right? I told you also to remember this. Satyam Pada Dharmam Chara, to always speak the truth and act righteously. Then the verse talk about the qualities of God, about intuitions, about Brahmagyani, etc. Right? And then the chapter 3, section 2, it talks about the self-realization, to know the Supreme. The wise one, they are usually free from worldly desires, one wise. Jnani kumanu na pelitalela, Brahmagyani or Atmagyani, they don't have those desires, those attachment, right? And such a person is not born again. He was stuck in the cycle of birth and death. And you have the next one, which talks about desires. Because of desire, we can take birth again and again. Just like Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, at the time of death, whatever we think, we become that particular thing. So if we are thinking about God, about Brahman, we will definitely get moksha. And at the time of death, to think about God is not an easy thing, because we don't know when we are going to die. So we need practice for that, constant practice we need for that, right? Good. Bon, ça m'a une question là, c'est déjà from the past papers. Let's see directement from this, right? Bon, this is basically your Mundaka Upanishad. So let's see. Question. Explain what Hinduism is teaching in the famous saying, I am Brahman. This is the saying, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. What does that mean? Hinduism is teaching this, no? Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. What does that mean? I am Brahman, say we are part of God. No, it means that we are part of God. There is God in me. And there is God in me means there is God in everyone. It's not that there is God in only one particular someone. Or there is God in only me. No, God is in everyone. So you can write the verse Aham Brahmasmi, that line, you can add it here. Okay. And it also explains that what is the goal of life. And I say, I am Brahman. What is the goal of life? Which is definitely moksha. Right? So this question is on ça nous bizarre faire révision sur Bhagavad Gita and Ramcharitmanas. We'll see that next week. So this is about the Upanishad 2017-2018. What do the two birds described in the Mundaka Upanishad represent? So you write number 1, individual soul, number 2, Brahman, ou bien God. But better you write Brahman. What does the Mundaka Upanishad teach Hindus about Atman? What you learn about Atman? What do you have to say about Atman? Ki Mundaka in montrez-nous about Atman. Atman, c'est Atma, bien sûr. So you write it here. 3 marks. Don't go too long, right? Explain what the Mundaka Upanishad means when it says, in truth, who knows God becomes God. Je me dis en créole, en vérité, ce qui connaît bon Dieu, li vin bon Dieu. That is, through truth, by doing the right action, we will be able to know God. And if we are able to know God, we will become God. That is, we merge with the Supreme. But what do we need to do to merge to the Supreme? What do we need to do to know God and to merge to the Supreme? This is what you need to write here. Maybe you will tell about knowledge, Gyan, important in Gyan. We have Brahma Gyan, it is very important. You will maybe talk about bhakti. You will talk about karma. But be brief. Si vous pouvez cause tous les trois, be very brief parce que les 5 points seulement. Right? Like inculcating virtues. You can mention few virtues, truthfulness, forgiveness, etc. Right? The Upanishads are the best source of knowledge about Brahman. Of course, you have to refer in the other Upanishads. You have to refer to Chandogya and Mundaka Upanishad. The Jaukya Upanishad is the best source of knowledge about Brahman. Sade Upanishad la specifically Sadela, the best book you can read to know about God, to know about Brahman. Is that true or not? Yes, it is true. Because the Upanishads teach us about Brahman. What is the way to Brahman? Who is Brahman? You can describe, you can say Chandogya Upanishad, Indianu Brahman is omnipresent through the salt water illustration. Upal décrit salt water illustration, but you just mention it there. La examinateur connaît, you know what you are writing. And what does the Mundaka says about the Brahman? Ça aussi vous écrire. You can refer to, you can take one example, right? But est-ce que seulement Upanishads lui donnent knowledge about Brahman? Pas seulement Upanishads. We have Bhagavad Gita as well. We'll do that later on, bien sûr, but we have Bhagavad Gita as well. Qui lui donne, explique-nous about Brahman. What is the way to Brahman? You can write something what Krishna has said about Brahman. And we have also the Ramcharitmanas, which gives us knowledge about Brahman. L'Ipekav dit à nous que Ramcharitmanas peut donner knowledge about Ram. Ram is this, Ram is Maryada Purushottam. Ram has been the ideal son, ideal brother, and all. But who is that Ram? That Ram is Brahman, right? So always take one examples like this. Get dans sa question là, ou pour bien include tous les quatre, non? So one example from Mundaka, one from Chandogya, Bhagavad Gita, and Ramcharitmanas, at least one, I'm saying, right? So this is how you attempt it. This is about Bhagavad Gita, 2019. Describe the feelings of the man in the tree in the Mundaka Upanishad. C'est a deux birds, and bird c'est nous. Deuxième bird c'est God. Linzao describe the feelings of the man. Ça veut dire of that bird qui représente nous. What were our feelings? Ignorance, sorrow, confusions, doubts, attachment, ignorance, I told you, yeah, attachment, enjoyer. He wants to enjoy only. Anything you can write. Here you can write about two. Après, ou explique un petit peu. Let's say you're saying he is the enjoyer of the fruits. That is, il peut toujours faire action, il peut involve in the law of karma, right? Like that. Ou bien, ou mentionner seulement trois feelings, right? Up to you. Explain why the Mundaka Upanishad is important to some Hindus. Il est important the Mundaka Upanishad. Yes, il est important. Why is it important? Il est important premièrement pour les sannyasis. Do mention that, right? Parce que it has been written for the sannyasis specifically. Anyone can read it to gather knowledge to put into practice, no doubt, but specifically for the sannyasis. But au fait, il pose tout bien sûr, hein? But le fait qu'il refer to the mundaka, the one whose head has been shaved. And sannyasi, you can take sannyas at any age. Il n'est pas nécessairement attendre 50 ans, 75 ans pour take sannyasi. Get Swami Vivekananda just at a very young age, he became a sannyasi. We can become a sannyasi at any age, provided we are ready. Donc, why is the Mundaka Upanishad important? En deux mots, qui fait important, that is, qu'il peut montrer nous comme ça, which makes it important. And it goes about sannyasis. Deuxièmement, it talks about Brahman, about God. We get knowledge about. And also, what is the goal of life? The Purusharthas. What is our goal? What we are here to do what? Right? You can explain like you have your 5 marks. Maintenant, après nous discusser. Laisse-nous finir faire next week. Nous finir faire revision on other two then. 19. Give 2 ways in which the Atman can be known according to Mundaka Upanishad. Comment on est capable de connaître Atman? Ça veut dire 2 chemins. Knowledge, karma. Outline what the Mundaka Upanishad says about Brahman. Qu'il explique about Brahman. You écrire. Qu'il dit à nous about Brahman. So if you see well, this question you need to prepare for both Mundaka and Chandogya, for Bhagavad Gita as well, and for Ramcharitmanas as well. Qu'il dit à nous about God. Right? This one we'll do next week, parce que ça aussi next week, parce que they include Bhagavad Gita aussi. 2021. Describe what the Mundaka Upanishad says about the grieving man. The grieving man, c'est nous. that one bird, individual soul, we are always grieving. Why are we grieving? Il y a une question bien vague, hein? We cannot put actually anything here, just in relation to what has been asked. Describe what the Upanishad says about the grieving man and say the trapped in the cycle of birth and death. That's why we grieve. Qui fait nous grieve? Parce que we are ignorant. We don't have the proper guidance. We are not Brahmagyani. We have not reached that position. We are not able to decide which path to take, the Shreya or the prayer. You see, you can write many things here, but you choose your answer. Sa question-là aussi, next week. Bhagavad Gita. This is also next week parce que il faut include other chapters. Yeah, voilà, c'est ça, 2021.